delighted now to be joined by Terry Garcia, Chief Science and Exploration Officer at National Geographic. Now, what is someone like you doing in a place like Davos? What have you come here to talk about?
Well, I came from Cairo actually to be here, and I've come here to talk about cultural heritage, about cultural resources and assets, about their importance, why should people care about it, but also about what's happening to them. The fact that our history, our culture is being stolen from us in many cases now. We're seeing these cultural resources, just as we've seen natural resources around the world disappear, we're also seeing our cultural resources disappear and come under threat. It's in places like Syria, but it's also in Egypt, it's also in South and Central America. It's a worldwide phenomenon, and it's beginning to accelerate. But certainly in Syria, and what we've seen in Palmyra and the horrendous destruction has prompted the conversation here. And we're talking about the issue, the problem, but also what are the solutions to this? What can we do to begin to impact it? And the point that I've made, among others, is that when you look at this problem, it is a supply and a demand issue, that illegal antiquities, and by the way, when ISIS is not destroying an object, they're selling it, they're stealing it, they're converting it into cash. So therefore there is a demand aspect to this, and what we need to begin doing is talking about this and pointing out that this is part of a global criminal enterprise that is using our heritage to convert it into cash that can fund nefarious activities. And it should be socially unacceptable for people to be buying these objects. A colleague has called this blood antiquities. It's truly an attempt to steal one's identity. It's identity theft on a massive scale that's being perpetrated by individuals and organizations around the globe. And it's not little, poor farmers trying to eke out a living, but rather it is part of a large global criminal enterprise.
So what do we do about it?
Well, one thing is we talk about it like we're doing right now. We identify it, we put a spotlight on it so people know it's happening, and they also know that it's unacceptable. We begin to also take resources and apply them to enforcement. National Geographic has been working with customs authorities around the world, and particularly in the U.S., to help them identify looted antiquities. We need to change laws to make it more difficult to import these objects into the consuming countries, like the United States, like Great Britain, like Western Europe. We need to work with local communities. We need to help people develop sort of a culture of stewardship around these assets, and also help them develop the economy around antiquity sites so that they benefit from it as well. So all of those are fair game for the conversation that we're having right now.
I'm interested also in just talking a little bit about your program this year for National Geographic, because you're in charge of the exploration side.
Yes.
What's coming up?
Well, there are a lot of things coming up, and what I like to tell people is that the best part of the job, even though I can get on a plane these days, as can you, and fly to any part on the planet, that it seems as though we've discovered everything there is to discover, that we haven't, that there's still mysteries out there. There are still amazing things remaining, waiting for us to discover them. There's still lost cities. Just a few months ago, a team that we have been working with in Honduras, using modern technology, found a city that has been hidden in the jungle for probably 700 years. And what's exciting right now is that technology is revolutionizing my business, my industry, exploration, because technology is giving us a key that we didn't have before. It's a key that opens doors that we thought were permanently locked, or we didn't even know the door existed. And now it's being revealed to us, and we're seeing it over and over again. And I believe that the 21st century is going to be the greatest age of exploration in the history of mankind, period. And it's an exciting time to live in, and we want to tell people about it. We want to be the ones who help to fund scientific research and exploration, as well as conservation. And then we want to communicate those findings to as broad an audience as possible. And we're committed as an organization to using both our scientific assets and our media assets to begin to address some of the critical issues also that face us, whether it's marine resources or wildlife trafficking, or, as we were discussing a moment ago, the threat to our cultural heritage.
You were just in Egypt. Did you have a chance to see if the tomb has been discovered yet?
My, what are you talking about? Yes, I was in Egypt and had meetings with the Antiquities Minister, and we did talk about that, and National Geographic is very involved in that project. We'll see. It's intriguing, and I can't tell you how likely it is that there's something there. I think that the hypothesis is a very credible one, that perhaps there is a chamber. What I can tell you, again, is that I'm always surprised. I never say, no, that's not possible, because I've been proven wrong many times before. And I'm hoping that we'll have a chance to investigate this and perhaps in the next few months be able to answer your question.
Which would be great for Egypt.
It would be fantastic for Egypt because, as you know, tourism is down tremendously.
Thank you very much for stopping by the Hub Culture
It's my
Pavilion
pleasure, yeah.
here in Davos, and I'm eating lunch.